Well, guys, I'd like to talk about something fun today because all of my society videos have been kind of dark and complaining about society, but this was one of the best things I have seen. By the time we're seeing this, everybody on the internet has already seen it because it's a couple weeks old. But the NPC meme has been circling around the internet for 2 weeks at this point, and it couldn't be closer to the truth without actually being the truth, and I honestly think it's kind of funny. There were a lot of people that didn't get it right away, and in order to understand the NPC meme, you kind of gotta go down deep into gamer culture and maybe have played a few video games in your lifetime. NPC stands for non player character. Generally, it's going to be somebody that's just kind of put in there for either show or to have a little bit of dialogue or just to dress out the environment in a role playing game. I've heard that there's use for them in tabletop games too, but I've never really played a tabletop game, so I don't understand what the role would be. But as far as RPGs and other video games, this struck me right in the core. I knew exactly what was going on with it, and I was highly amused by it. Now, I'm not going to take too much time and explain the joke because as you explain the joke away too much, you start to lose some of the footing of it. And in a Discord server that I participate in, such discussion was going on. One person was trying to get too deep into the meme and was just going beyond it. It was a joke, and you're not supposed to think that hard about it. You look at the joke, you laugh a little bit, and then you walk away and you go and do something else. However, one of my favorite YouTubers and podcast hosts was very confused by the NPC meme, so I directed him back to the conversation where the other Discord user was overthinking it and had him look at it. But I'm also going to take some time and describe a little bit about it to my listeners, some of whom have not played extensive video games and may not be able to make the connection. A non player character is any character in a video game that is not controlled by the user or another user that the user is playing with. It can be just a townsperson in an RPG, it can be enemies, it can be just legitimately anything other than the playable character that the user is playing. NPCs are known for being controlled by an artificial intelligence, usually the rules and parameters that are built into the system for the character for the role that that non-player character is supposed to play. You've got your general townsfolk, like when you're playing Fallout New Vegas, where it won't even give the person a name, and that person will just spit out some generic line when you try and talk to that person. Or you have the townsfolk that will talk to you when you approach them and click on the particular person. That person will spit out a series of dialogue points to you depending on choices that you make. But it's always scripted and predetermined far before you've ever approached that character, depending on the aspects of the game as you're coming to. Your enemies also count as NPCs, non-playable characters, because they are again not playable by the user and set to react a certain way based on certain stimuli. Now, there are a couple of ideas on the root of this meme, and there are a lot of people in the camp out there that say that this is a revenge meme. Tim Pool made a video about that, and I will link that in the description below, where he talked about the fact that most of the people that are on the far left have made a career and a lifetime over the last 2 years of calling anybody that they don't agree with a Russian bot, or just a bot in general. And I have fallen victim to this as well myself. Anytime you come up and you say something or try and engage a person into a discussion where you might change your mind or try and find where that person is coming from, you are instantly called a bot and usually blocked afterwards. This is especially prominent on Twitter, where Jack likes to control the flow of information and likes to block or silence the people that don't necessarily agree with the majority. As soon as this explanation came out, the explanation came out that we were trying to dehumanize the people that we don't agree with. To an extent, that's maybe true, but when I explain the other theory about this, you'll see that the people that don't agree with this have been doing a very good job of dehumanizing themselves. I'm sorry to have to put it that way, but that's a lot of where this came from. But the revenge part of it is clear. I mean, the people on the left that have been throwing around the slur of Russian bot have been dehumanizing anybody that they don't agree with, and that's a general tactic of the Democrat Party in general, especially now. It wasn't so prevalent before, but now that's just the biggest tactic there is. Bots, deplorables, there's any number of countless slurs and pejoratives. You could call them a racist, a sexist, a homophobe. Any name that you call a person like that is something that you can do to try and dehumanize the person that you're talking about. So, for one just tiny little meme where the right comes back and strikes back in kind of a humorous way, in a fairly accurate way, I think it's harmless. Maybe it's a little harmful, but for the most part, comparatively, it's kind of harmless. The other theory about where this meme came from basically talks about the idea and the generality of the NPCs and the people that they're being attached to as we talk about them and spread the meme around. One of the things about the very far left, especially the protesting mob rule far left, is the fact that they seem to have been pre-programmed. I don't try to dehumanize the typical far lefter when I say this, but it's really hard not to when you look at their behavior. No matter what you say to them, they always have a ready retort, and it's usually something that's been memorized, and it's something that you can almost predict as soon as you walk up to them. It is almost like that they are programmed to act and talk a certain way and deliver certain lines when the playable character interacts with them. If you start winning an argument with one of them, you're almost instantly called a racist or something else. If you say that you're in support of Donald Trump, or even just say that you're a centrist conservative, you're automatically an always Trumper and a hypocrite. If you say outright that you support Trump, you hate women, and that's the same thing when you talk about Kavanaugh. Or if you ask for indictable evidence when you talk about something like the Blasey Ford allegations, it's automatically that you hate women, and that you hate democracy, and that you hate America. It is a series of predetermined lines based on the interaction that you try to approach with these people. And completely honestly, it's one of the dangers of mob rule, because when the people are in large groups, they are expected to act a certain way. Large groups, mob rule, and democracy definitely dehumanizes people because it puts the needs of the mob ahead of the needs of the individual people. That was one of the things that our founders knew when they were framing our new network of government and trying to make sure that the rights of everybody were protected in one way or another. What's best for the group is not necessarily best for the individual, and that's why we have a Senate. That's what we talked about on Thursday. Now, there's already been blowback to this meme, and of course, it's obviously people that are taking it way too far. There is a person that is one of my followers, and I mutually follow her, and she's a meme farmer. She essentially spent all of last weekend retweeting all of the NPC memes that were sent to her, and a lot of them were being sent from accounts that had changed themselves into NPCs. That was a growing trend as we were going through last weekend. A lot of people were changing their profile pictures to the NPC guy, which is NPC Wojak, I found out while I was researching for this video, and changing their handles, or at least their display names, into something that was either anonymous, had a bunch of numbers in it, or was NPC itself. Most of these were troll accounts, but some of these were huge troll accounts. There were people that go on and pretend to be other people just to troll, especially prominent people in the media. And after the Kavanaugh case was over and Dr. Ford is now disappearing out of the media, they needed something else to latch onto and troll on, and that was going to be their next thing. As far as I understand from looking into this, Twitter is going through and purging anybody who has the NPC Wojak profile picture or has a name suggesting that that person is an NPC. And as I said, some of these were huge accounts, so they're either being banned outright or suspended until they change their profile pictures or meet some other high demand that Twitter has for them. So this was obviously becoming a very prominent thing and a very troublesome thing to a lot of people out there. I'm actually just a little bit afraid to open Gab right now, just to wonder how many people out there that I follow and that follow me are changed over into the NPC meme themselves, since there are less to no rules over on Gab. I'm sure that there's a flood of those people over there. The Great Purge of NPC meme characters is something that I actually find just a little bit troubling when I look into this. I mean, I consider this to be just a little bit of light ribbing. This is not as serious and job ending as people going out and calling you a racist or a sexist or a rapist or a homophobe as it's coming from on the other side. What we've seen with the NPC meme is the fact that there are a few people on the right that have found a way to fight back against the constant onslaught of the left, but it's always been kind of mild and just, it's not something that's going to ruin your life or your career. You're still going to be able to get up and go to work the next day. You're still going to be able to go and interact with society. It's just a fun little way to fight back. And yet that's the one that's getting banned and purged out of the internet. Meanwhile, the people that are doxing other people and calling their jobs and getting them put out of their careers continue to run rampant and free around these social media sites. All in all, I think it was funny. I'm glad that it came out, and I'm glad I was able to get a few laughs out of it. Had it not been for the Great Purge, I might have been tempted to do something like that with my Twitter profile picture itself. Now I'm obviously not going to do it, but the idea crossed my mind, as it did with a lot of other people. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the collection of memes that I put up here as we were going through this video. I hope you've enjoyed the ones that have been scattered around the internet for the last couple of weeks. And I hope you take some time, and if you see one that you like, go ahead and share it and let the rest of the world see it, because this was kind of fun. I kind of enjoyed the fact that this meme came into existence. What do you think about the NPC Wojak meme, and how accurate do you think my description of it was? I always welcome a thoughtful, positive discussion in the comment section below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at EdsBlogTwitter with a 1 in place of the I. Thanks as always for listening to this show and supporting this channel. And remember, never take the words of bloggers, podcasters, or journalists as gospel. Find all the facts and draw your own conclusions. Take care.
You're always there for me in my best hiding place. I'm not alone. I'm not alone. You're here when I wake up, and you